Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first Trader Merlin show of the new administration. Exciting transition over the last 48 hours, and I watched a little bit of the inauguration, but I was too wrapped up in other things. It was a pretty exciting, fun day yesterday. Lots of trading going on, lots of football, and all in all, a new term is underway. New term begins, the title of today's show. I know there's some tears flowing. There's people that are overly joyous, whatever. Let's just all figure out how we can capitalize on this and make the most out of it. So I wanted to start with a little bit of what are some of the high-level changes in all of my programs, whether it's the crypto or the XLT general sessions or just from Trading Academy in general. People asking me all sorts of questions on what's next, what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. What I can tell you, as I mentioned before, is these markets are going to have a good amount of volatility to them because of the uncertainty, not just because of Trump and his actions. It's the cumulative effort of everybody that's going to be appointed. And I saw a really cool graphic that I wanted to show you to start with today, which is President Trump designates chairman and acting chairman. Now, we know he's changing the chairman of the Federal Reserve, right? That's, the chairman of the SEC, which is going to move over to Paul Atkins. The Federal Reserve, well, we know that's going to be a new one as well. Maybe a new one as well. We'll see that down the road. But check out some of these changes just to give you an idea of how vast this is and how many different things are changing here. I'll scroll down, and for those in the podcasters, we can have a new chairman of the FCC. All right, that's Brendan Carr. You've got Mark Christie as the chairman of the Federal Energy Regulations Committee. You have acting chairman. Basically, some of these have to be by appointment, so you have to wait for them to be voted in. That's going to be Henry Kerner. You've got Andrew Ferguson as the chairman of the FTC. Marvin Kaplan is the chair of the National Labor Relations Board. Let's see, Nuclear Energy Commission. I think this is an interesting one. David Wright. We'll probably talk a lot more about the Nuclear Energy Commission as the year goes. The rumor was that Trump was going to declare a state of energy emergency so he could give him control, so he could do drill, baby, drill, open up all these federal lands, and maybe even do something with nuclear. We'll see if that happens. You see the chairman of the SEC. This is acting right now, so that's until he gets appointed, which could be several months. We're going to have Paul Atkins as the chair of the SEC, but right now the acting chair is Mark Ueda. Again, pro-crypto, he'll probably do the same agenda as Atkins. Andrea Lucas, acting chair of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. You have Travis Hill is the board of directors of FDIC. Again, I'm not going to read them all. There are a ton of them. I mean, lots of civil rights. You have Surface Transportation Board. That's going to be interesting because of Elon Musk's association with that. Federal Maritime Commission, things changing across the board. So how does this all shake up is anyone's guess. Now, you would think that you would be putting people in those positions that would be much more pro whatever Trump's agenda is, which is, as he says, make America great again. So I'm excited for it, but also being very cautious. Now, as I mentioned on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday show, I was stepping back from MicroStrategy. I did sell some puts today. On MicroStrategy, but not a lot. I sold the 330 strikes. I'll have to check that just to make sure. And I also sold some calls against positions that I have, but I'm going to be a little bit careful the first couple weeks in this new administration just because I don't know what's going to happen. And again, one comment, one tweet, one announcement can cause absolute havoc, as some of you saw on Friday with the Trump coin. Now, I don't know if you guys all saw this one, but let me go out to Donald Trump's, not Junior. We want to go to Donald Trump's website. Let me real quickly bring this up for you. Hopefully some of you saw this. And I thought that on Friday that this was a hack. I could have sworn that he had his account hacked. Yeah, Andre said no words for crypto in his speech. No, not at all. Not a one. Nothing about Bitcoin, nothing about crypto. However, some of the actions that he performed may give us some clues there. Now, this is what was posted on his Twitter feed on Friday. This is a bit interesting in my opinion. And I think I posted some comments about this, and this is how fickle people can be. I posted some comments about this, and I noticed my statistics. I lost a whole bunch of followers because of my comment on this one, and I still stand by it 100%. I apologize if people found it offensive, but you can see here Donald Trump says, "My new official Trump meme is here. It's time to celebrate everything we stand for, winning. Join my very special Trump community. Get your Trump now, blah, 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 blah. Have fun." does everybody well, actually, you guys do me a favor. In chat, think of a meme coin, right? And he basically, says this is a meme coin. I'll bring up the chart for you guys so you can see what happened with this one. In my mind, well, I'm going to wait for you guys to type in because I know there's a whole bunch of comments going to pop in on this one, but I'll bring up a 5-minute chart so you guys can see what happened with this one. Here is your 5-minute chart over the past couple of days. Now, back here on Friday, this thing was trading about $1.50. A couple days, before that, it was trading at 0 because this was a meme coin. Video is buffering. Oh no, not again. We start to show off with buffering and lagging. Great. Steve says, set crypto legitimacy back 5 years. Well, this is where I'm a little bit concerned, Steve, is if we look at the value, what a meme coin brings to the table. Oh, okay. You guys didn't hear it. Let me repeat it. For those of you who are here today, just type into your chat one word, which is what value does something like this Trump coin bring to the market? What does it bring to the market? Does it see the wheel spinning now? Let me real quickly see. I'm not sure why this is happening, but I was running perfectly earlier today. Oh, yeah, I can tell I'm pretty low. Pretty low. I'm going to see if I can switch over here. Hold on one sec. Hopefully this won't hurt us too much, but I'm going to have to switch network connections here because it's just download speed's real low and my upload is probably, my upload's great, but my download speed is very, very bad here today and it keeps on spinning. Not sure why that is. All right, I'll just keep going. Hopefully this will just clear itself up. I'm not sure why my download speed is so bad. A meme coin provides literally no value to society in any way, shape, or form. There is nothing of value created by a meme coin. All it is a gambler's paradise, and the only one who benefits are those who knew early on, which was President Trump. This is, by the way, before he became President Trump the second time. This happened on Friday, and the reason people feel it's very strategic as to why it happened, because on Friday he was not the president. If he had used his power as president to promote this, that actually would violate constitutional terms and there could be crimes associated with this. Now, what I find very interesting about this action here is if a celebrity did this, if Kanye West did this and was pumping their bags and trying to get you to buy something that served no value and only they benefited, that individual would probably face some criminal charges or some fines for their actions. And I posted that I find it interesting that Trump will probably receive no punishment, no fines, no retaliatory stuff for this, in my mind, grift, a ripoff of the financial markets. Yet somebody like Ross Ulrich is still sitting in jail for creating a website. Right, and then the Melania coin came out. So what's interesting about this is here's the chart of it. So as you guys can just see, I'll bring up the percentage rate of return from the low here on Friday to our peak we saw on the 19th on Sunday. So in 2 days, less than 48 hours, the value of this meme coin went from like 0 to, I believe, fully diluted. This would have been close to $60 billion. I think it was 66 billion, actually more than that, because there's 100 billion of these. So it would have been $78 billion, and Trump has 88% of them. So what's crazy is, if you think about wealth, and for those of you who've taken my cryptocurrency class, I have said this many times. I said, if you want to become a multimillionaire or multi-billionaire, you create a token, you get somebody out there to pump it, and then you unload on the willing public. And that's what's happening right now. This to me is crazy that this was allowed. For his entire life. Now, granted, Trump was given a lot of money to start with from his inheritance, from his father. A lot of money and assets and experience there. So his value as of Friday was sitting roughly about $6 billion. And today it stands, well, I don't know what the new adjustment was, but at its peak here was about $66 billion. So he added $60 billion to his net worth in 48 hours because of a meme coin. In my mind, for anybody who's watching this right now, this is damaging. And Steve mentioned that earlier. This is, I don't know, almost irreparable damage to crypto, because what it does is it creates this this negative association that Elizabeth Warren has been attacking. This is exactly what Elizabeth Warren is attacking. People like Trump who are, this grift, Trump coin, which was creating something out of thin air, convincing everyone to buy it, and then dumping it on him. That is one of the core definitions of a fraudulent activity. Yet he will get away with it. Hell, could probably pardon himself. So, I'm really adamant that you guys got to be incredibly careful, not fall for this stuff. Granted, in hindsight, it would have been great to jump on this and make a bunch of money. But the reality is people are going to lose their shirts. And if you notice what's happened in this window of time from that peak on Sunday till just Monday morning, this thing was down over 50%, and it's probably going to fall even more. Liz said, like the Hawk Tua girl meme coin. So here's the difference in these two. I believe, and this is just my belief, the Hawk Tua girl had no idea. She doesn't understand crypto. She's just like, oh, you want me to put my name on it? Oh, okay, I'll do that. Sure. And they used her celebrity status to promote that coin. The people that should get in trouble there were the people that created the coin. In this case, you have Trump, Barron Trump Jr., Trump Jr., all the different Trump, Barron, all the different Trumps were in on this with a team of developers. This is not like they had no idea what this was, because Trump tweets this thing out on his Twitter feed, and all of a sudden everybody and their mother's buying it. But remember, 80% plus were already in the hands of the people that built it. So all of a sudden this small pool pushes it up, and then the big money comes and dumps on it. To me, that should be criminal. Now, it's unfortunate because what was Gary Gensler trying to do? He was trying to protect the crypto world. And I'm sure right now Gary Gensler is looking out his window going, you want me to come back? Because that's kind of what I was going for, fraudulent activities. So we'll see over the next few months what comes of this. Does anything happen because of this? Because any other celebrity probably would have been busted. And what changes going forward? I really hope that we can put an end to meme coins, because it does hurt the image and reputation of crypto. This thing serves no purpose, nothing whatsoever. If anything, it's negative because it only benefits those people who are in it early. Guys, look, we could do the exact same thing. I kind of joked with us, I think on this channel a couple years back, where I was like, look, I already have a Trader Merlin token. I could take 100 grand, add liquidity to it, and then you guys go out on your social media and just start talking about how Trader Merlin coin's the greatest thing ever. People will buy it, not to the extent they bought Trump's. But if we as a group, right, held 80% of those coins, let's say we evenly distributed amongst all of us here today, we held that, and you all pumped it on whatever social media sites you can, people will go, people will buy it, it'll rally up in value. Because there's such a small amount of the total in that pool, just a small amount of buyers cause it to surge, and then all of a sudden it shows up on things like this. It shows up on like CoinMarketCap as the hottest trends. You can see them right here. The new one is called Pump Trump, up 91%. Trump coin up 2,000% last, oh geez. Is this a new one or the same one? This is a new one. This is another Trump coin. I mean, it's just stupidity on a colossal level. This thing has a market cap right now of $9 million, and literally, I'm willing to bet you this is probably some teenager in his garage just creating these things. So be really careful, people. I'd hate to see you get caught in some of these. When I talk about building a crypto portfolio, which will be my next week's lesson for my students in the focus application sessions, we walk through not exactly, the framework for building out a portfolio in crypto. Like, how should you build it? And I have a small slice, a very small slice, that's the gamble portion. Only that money should be invested in these things. Never invest your full pie. But how do people not know that this has no utility behind these coins? It's no one's fault if you're ignorant with your money. Correct, Damiani. I 100% agree with you. It's the lack of education. And to me, it's blind followers, right? It's when you have people who will... It's cultish. I hate to say it. It's cultish. The people who bought this are part of the Trump cult. They'll buy anything he talks about. If he goes out there and says, you have to buy an Oral-B toothbrush. Oral-B toothbrushes will be the best-selling toothbrush in the world because he has such sway and influence. And to me, with that responsibility comes a lot of risk too. And I think the people here are much more aware of it. You're thoughtful. You understand that this was most likely a grift, and we can talk about what happened with his World Liberty Financial in a little bit with that too. So I want to move on to other things. Why wouldn't Saylor come out against stuff like this? Surprises me. Because what it does, Steve, here's something very interesting. I also went after people like Caitlin Long, who is one of the most prominent, wonderful people in the crypto industry. She is the flag wearer on an institutional level for crypto. She's absolutely orange pill, pro Bitcoin. She was talking about this and kind of pumping it up. And I was like, why would you do that? You should do nothing to promote these garbage meme coins. However, what does it do? For those of you who own Solana, we've got a few of you here who are in Solana. Remember, this meme coin was minted on Solana. And you're like, well, what does that mean? That means that Solana is going to get a tremendous amount of activity because of that. So let's go look at the price of Solana from Friday. So let's go to Friday's action. Boom, boom. Here's Friday. And from bottom to peak, Solana rose on Friday to its peak 2 days later, 39.72%. Now, honestly, as my third largest holding that I own right now, I was like, hell yeah, go baby go. Drill baby drill. Solana went bonkers, absolutely. So this was good news because what it means is it brings in demand to an ecosystem. So if Trump had built this on Ethereum, you would have saw massive Ethereum inflow. If he built it on Cardano, you'd have seen Cardano's take off because to get it, you'd have to buy Cardano. You'd have to get Cardano to get into, it's like trying to access the US markets. What do you have to buy? You have to buy the dollar. So you buy the dollar and now you can access the US economy. You want to access these meme coins that exist on Solana? Got to buy Solana. And it also means you're making transactions in that Solana ecosystem, which generates fees and causes more adoption. So on one hand, I would say, if you ask me the question, what's the one thing that it brings to crypto is attention. It brings attention. It may bring new people into the crypto space. Now, it's my hope that they all go and educate themselves because the reality is if you bought Trump coin, you're probably going to lose money. If you bought Melania coin, you're probably going to lose money as well. Here's the Melania coin over the last couple of days. It's a newer one, but look at the fall. I mean, this thing from where it peaked out at on Sunday to where it's at right now, you're looking at a slide on Melania coin of roughly 66%. At one point yesterday, it was down about 80%. And that's going to happen over and over and over and over again, unfortunately. So hopefully we'll get some changes to the ecosystem. The reason I bring this up and spend so much time on it is Trump clearly knows what he's doing. He understands World Liberty Financial. He has an advisory team of the top-notch brass in crypto, including people from Coinbase, including people from Ripple, Cardano, Avalanche, Chainlink. You've got the best of the best kind of coaching him and guiding him. So this was a great move from a money-grabbing perspective for President Trump. In my opinion, it's a very bad move because it's going to hurt a lot of people along the way. Question is now, what does he do going forward? He has not freed Ross Ulbricht, which I believe he should do immediately. He didn't mention one word about a strategic Bitcoin reserve. But let's be fair. Let's be really fair. There's a million things on his plate. So I didn't expect the Bitcoin reserve to happen day one. I do expect to have it happen within the next 3 to 6 months. So we'll see what happens there. He did not move over the Bitcoin from the Marshal Service to the Treasury Department, which he said he would do day one. He didn't free Ross, which he said he'd do day one. So, unfortunately, a lot of stuff that I knew was going to happen, right? And this is not just Trump. This is Biden as well. This is Clinton. This is Obama. This is Kennedy. This is Carter. You say all sorts of things to get your voters to vote for you, and then when the day comes to actually put the tires on the road, some of those tires are never going to meet the road. Now, Ross Ulbricht's an easy one. That's an easy one. Just sign it, and that kid goes free. He deserves 11 years he's been in prison for something that is silly. Other people probably should stay in prison a lot longer for crimes they've committed. So we'll see what happens. Right now, I'm not overly concerned. I think when we look at the market and what it's done over the last, let's say, 48 hours, I think it's a net positive. We haven't seen anything crash. We haven't seen it just come falling down. And I did mention this last week. I said, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, I said, I'll bet you that by the time we get to the election week, we will have passed the all-time highs in Bitcoin. And lo and behold, folks, oops, 1 second. I was drawing for the class this morning, talking about that 4-year cycle. If you look at where we are right now, we did break an all-time high. So we did break the all-time high on Monday, Martin Luther King Day, and Inauguration Day, and now we're kind of back below that. We're currently sitting on the futures market at in the spot market at 106.45, which is great. I mean, that's fantastic that we have not seen this roll over. And to me, this is very important. If the industry had felt that this was all a charade and nothing was going to happen, then Bitcoin would be selling off right now. But you've given all the people that are in place of power, the people that Trump surrounded himself with, you look at this table over here that I've drawn out for you guys multiple times. This is really important for me in the long term. It's not a one day, one night fixes it. So we'll be patient, right? We'll kind of hold on and wait and see what happens here. We do have some time for him to make some decisions. Obviously, you got 4 years to make some decisions. But we'll probably see it happen this year with that strategic Bitcoin reserve. I'm optimistic, but your day one activities, it was kind of boring. What are some of the things that happened on day one? Well, that was kind of interesting too. I'm curious what you guys think of this. According to a report, you guys type in the chat. Hopefully my audio sounds good. What percentage of government employees actually go into the office? Physically go into an office on a daily basis? What percentage of government employees? I read this report and I was shocked by it. I was really kind of blown away that these numbers were what they were. But I'm going to wait until you guys type in an answer here so I can have a little bit of fun with the data. All right, what percentage you guys think? Liz says 30, VB says 20, Andrea says 5. Right, before I read the answer, if 5% of all government employees are going to work, that should embarrass a lot of us. It should wonder what crap's not getting done. Now, I don't know about you. I know a ton of people that work remotely. And I would say that 75% of those people are absolutely abusing that privilege. Absolutely abusing it. Like one of my good friends, Carrie lives up in Sacramento. He's always been a remote worker. He's one of the most amazing workers I have ever seen. I trust that guy any time of the day to get his job done and do it better than anybody else you know. He is one of the most amazing workers I've ever seen. I have other coworkers that I try to reach out during the day where I call them, text them, message, hey, I need your input on this. Nothing. Crickets for hours and they get back to you the next day. A lot of people are slackers, and hey, I'm working from home too. I just went and took my dog for a nice long walk, but the answer is 6%. 6% of people, of government employees, go to the office on a daily basis. And Trump signed it, said you're all going back to work. I love it. I love it. This will help out in a lot of different ways. I know it sounds weird, but it will help out in a lot of ways. Number one is you got a lot more people need to be taking transportation, which costs money, costs resources, whether they're using fossil fuels or whether they're taking public transportation. You're adding tolls and all sorts of money coming into the economy. And I think you get better workmanship out of it. And if they don't come to work, fire them, find someone else who will. I think it's awesome. I'm all for it. I kind of wish that we had a more vibrant office, and hopefully in the near future we will when we bring on some more employees and really grow this trading academy thing, because I want to go back to the office. I'd have a studio set up there, and yeah, Joe, he says lots of empty office spaces. It was shocking. I can't remember where I saw the document. I think I downloaded it downstairs. Maybe tomorrow I'll show it to you. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy how much vacant government office space there is. It's like either use it or lose it. Jamie Diamond has asked the same of JP Morgan employees. Good. India says, no doubt there are slackers in any company, but the only ones who stay are the ones that don't do work in the office or at home. That's true, but at least if you're in the office, the probability of you doing more work is better. For example, if I go to a work environment, like if I'm a government office, I'm probably going to have certain addresses that are banned, that are blocked, that you can't go to. So on your work computer, nope, you're not going to YouTube. Nope, you're not going to TikTok. Nope, you're not going to Instagram. Those sites are banned. Why? Because people get lost in that rabbit hole and start doom scrolling. Of course, they can do it on their phone, but if your boss is a good boss and, having tasks at hand, he'll know, hey, this should have been done already. What are you doing? So it should increase productivity. Stargate's new AI project, working government, they play solitaire all Indigo, thanks for that input. You'll come work for me, Chris? All right, we'll see. I'm hoping, we're really a lot of us are kind of stressed, just all the workload that's on us right now. But I'm hoping that in another few months we can come up for air and have seen Trading Academy get a little bit better. So now we can start bringing in different resources to grow different areas of the business, which we would like to do. So I'm excited for it. Not going to DBB? Not going to go back to work? I like it. I would want to go back. Another thing I thought was interesting today was just some of the controversy. And I don't really have a stand on. I do have an opinion on this. He's rolling back which will go through. This will have to go through the federal part, which is if anyone is born on U.S. soil, they are automatically a U.S. citizen. He's trying to take that out, which I believe that's a constitutional right. I gotta make sure I know my facts there, but I'm pretty sure that's in the Constitution. If you're born here in the U.S., that you gain citizenship automatically. And the question is, can you pass something like that would take away from a Constitution? No, you can't. So unless you do a constitutional amendment, which would be very, very interesting going forward. So all in all, I would say that the first day was interesting. There was the pageantry, the pomp and circumstance. I don't get these people that all stood around and watched him sign a bunch of documents, but interesting hearing what he was saying. Elon Musk obviously making some very foolish gestures, which I don't even think he really thought about. I thought it was constitutional, the 14th Amendment. That's definitely an interesting one. We'll see how that goes. And I'm one for. I shouldn't even say this because it'll probably make some of you dislike me. However, my belief is I welcome anyone into the United States. I think anyone should be welcome to come here as long as the moment that you get here, you are a tax-paying citizen. You are now responsible to be a part of the financial system. If you don't contribute to the system, you should also be removed, right? If you think you're just going to come here and have a baby across the border, and all of a sudden all of us taxpayers have to pay for everything, including all of your Social Security pieces and all the money to fund you because you don't have a job, don't want to work. I don't think that should be a burden that you and I should pay for, but I do think everyone should have a right to be a citizen. I think that process should be fast-tracked, where we go through and we check and make sure everyone's okay, no violent backgrounds or prisoners coming from other countries. But if you're going to work hard, that's the American dream, is it not? I believe the American dream is everybody has an opportunity, and as long as they pay, as long as you're paying taxes and you're under the same financial strengths that I'm under, great. Let's have the competition. Bring it on. But right now, I think our system is a bit messed up and doesn't quite work that way. One last piece I want to talk about before I get to the markets overall. Let's talk about World Liberty Financial, which I have said several times I believe is a fraud. I believe it's a money grab. Judging by the way the company is structured and the things that they are doing, I would say it is a bad, bad, bad investment. However, as you can see, there are a lot of fraudsters out there. Now, World Liberty Financial now has about $330 million worth of assets. And notice what they're doing. The smart thing. They are taking the people who have bought their World Liberty Financial tokens, which has surged in the last 72 hours, and they're buying other instruments. Notice, they've got about $188 million worth of Ethereum. They got $54,000 worth of stable coins. They have wrapped Bitcoin at $46 million, staked ETH. They've got all kinds of different ones. And by the way, it's ironic. World Liberty Financial is trying to be like Aave. Aave, Compound, MakerDAO are pretty much the same thing. And here you can see they even own some Aave. So they're probably doing that so they can just play around on Aave and test it out and see what they want to build out of Aave. So they are diversifying their holdings. They're spreading around some assets. So that's actually a fairly good thing for the crypto market. What does wrapped mean, Steve says? Okay, so I gave this illustration earlier in my crypto session, my focus session, so I'll keep it minimal. I'm not going to go too in depth, but Bitcoin's network does not talk to Ethereum. They're different technologies. They're written with different code. One's proof of work, one's proof of stake. They have different times. Blockchains, completely different. It's like going from let's say Bitcoin's your gas engine and Ethereum is an electric engine, right? There's no compatible parts in that vehicle. So how do you get Bitcoin to trade on Ethereum? Well, you can't. You can't take Bitcoin and trade it on Ethereum. So what people will do is you use what's called a bridge. A bridge is simply a smart contract, a piece of code that says, we'll take this Bitcoin and we're going to put it inside this smart contract, which is a piece of code. So that smart contract says, here's the address of this Bitcoin and the key, and it sits in there. When it's locked in that smart contract, they issue it's called a wrapped Bitcoin, because they've now wrapped it in the language of Ethereum or some other network. So once you put it in the smart contract issues what's called a WBTC, or wrapped Bitcoin, which is an Ethereum token, and can now be traded on Ethereum like any other Ethereum product. You could put that on Solana, you could put it on Cardano, you could just wrap it and put it onto one of these other exchanges. So that's what a wrapped means. Wrapped Bitcoin, wrapped ETH. So it's a way for you to use that on different marketplaces. Hopefully that makes sense. So I just wanted to show this because there is a lot of money here in World Liberty Financial, and as we know, the Trump family has a huge controlling interest in this one as well. They have a massive stake. So it is Bitcoin, not leveraged. In my opinion, it's not Bitcoin. It's tokenized Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is locked in like a little holding cell, a custody account, and they've issued a synthetic Bitcoin on their network. It's like if I go to, there's websites like DYDX or what's another one? Deribit, right? These are derivative sites where you can trade synthetic products. And I could go there and I could buy a share of Apple. But I'm not really buying an Apple share, right? I'm buying a synthetic. I'm buying something that's a token that tracks the price of Apple. A wrapped Bitcoin is essentially the same thing, except that actual Bitcoin is held in a custodial contract to act as collateral for that staked, or that wrapped Bitcoin. There you go. Your lesson for the day. All right, let's go into things that happen in today's market. But while we do that, let me jump real quick and look at the earnings calendar, because there were some good earnings today. I saw some comments in here earlier about Netflix, which just blew out their subscriber numbers, which is just absolutely crazy. There's your numbers. Their estimate was supposed to make 420, convenient, and they came out at 427. So they beat their earnings by a okay number, 7 cents, no big deal. It's their reporting of subscribers that was through the roof, shattered expectations, and Netflix is just... And now what you're going to get is, this is where you get Jim Cramer boasting about his call back in 2022, 3 years ago, where he said to buy it when it was trading at 568. Now he's like, I told you, you should have bought this thing. It's now trading at $900. That is a gorgeous uptrend. I'll be honest, I did not see this one moving like this. I'm definitely one of these believers that there's so much competition in this space that Netflix was going to struggle. I would be on the short camp of Netflix, to be honest, just because you kind of watch everything that's there if you're a TV addict. I'm not, so luckily I'm trying to watch less and less TV. But you've got Paramount, you've got Peacock, you've got Hulu, you've got Apple TV, you've got all these different networks. In my mind, I thought it would take more market share away from Netflix, but clearly it has not done that. Their chart looks absolutely fantastic. You're right now trading at, let me get the exact number here for you, 992. I'll show you the 5-minute chart so you can see the after hours, which has been phenomenal. Did it hit 1,000? Oh, no, it did not break 1,000. It got up to 994. Now, tomorrow, the question is, do you short this thing? Now, I think I can be really careful trying to short anything like this that's at all-time highs. However, it would not surprise me to see this have a pretty significant correction tomorrow. This is way, way overextended. Just in the past couple of years, from the low we saw here in 2022 to where we are right now, you're looking at a gain of 475%. Wow. Love it. Phenomenal run. So that was your kind of big story from the earnings calendar side of things. You can see a couple others here, but nothing that's that dramatic. Charles Schwab was up 5.92% on good earnings as well. United Airlines beat earnings, and they're up almost 4%. So some good stuff here. Some good stuff on the earnings front. Let's just bring up UAL real quick. United Airlines, man, just absolutely taken off. And, listening to Colin Teddards on his talk about airlines, he's a fan of Delta. Larry is too. Larry's a big fan of Delta. And then SCHW, Charles Schwab. There we go. So Schwab coming right back up into overhead supply as we speak. It rallied up this morning, and now looks like on the earnings here, actually coming back down just a hair. Here's your 5-minute of Charles Schwab. So there, lots of volatility going on with Schwab, but all in all, decent day for them earnings. I own Netflix and will exit position tomorrow. Yeah, Big Ab, if I were you, I'd do the same thing. That just seems like a phenomenal run. Or you Yeah, I would lock in my profits and be happy with that one. Let's see. Let me go back to the daily here, and I want to run through our markets. I don't know if you guys saw my post today, but I've got a bunch of SMCI, and so I sold the $34 strikes this morning. I sold some on Friday, and I sold some more today. And when I sold them this morning, it was pretty funny. I'll show you the 5-minute here so you can kind of get an idea. So I had sold them this morning. As it starts screaming back down, I'm like, I'll sell the $34 strikes. I ended up getting 40 cents per contract expiring this Friday. So, a little over 1.3% for 4 days. Not too bad. I'll take it. And then it just continued to just surge. Just ripped up over the day. And it was funny because had I just waited, I would have been able to get over double the premium that I sold it for. But, oh well. It is what it is. I have a bunch of shares that will probably get taken away on Friday. I hope. If they get taken away, great. I have no problem with that. Strike price is $34, which I'll put that right there. That is expiring this Friday. Again, that was about a 1.3% rate of return on SMCI for a period of 4 days. So I'm okay with that one. I did sell MicroStrategy again today. So we go MSTR. By the way, the vote did pass. It did pass. So this is pretty significant news for MicroStrategy, and I don't know the details. I was going to read about that tonight. I do have expiring this Friday, the 24th. I did the 330 strike, so let me get the 370s out of the way since my shares got taken away on Friday, and we'll just put the 330s in there. Let me just make sure. I want to check and make sure I have the right one. I don't like giving you guys misinformation, so let me just real quickly check and make sure I had I was looking at the 320s and I was looking at the 330s. I think I have the 330s, but let me just be clear. Trying to be transparent. Great day, by the way. 330s. So it was the 330s, and I collected 310, which is fantastic. And I sold the SMCI $34 strikes, which is really funny. They're currently at 60 cents. I sold them for 40. I tab nabbit, but I don't care. If my shares get taken away at $34, it will be a phenomenal trade for me. All right, for now, all of it says President Trump said they're investing $500 billion in this AI infrastructure. Yes, I heard that as well. I'd like to know more about the details of it. $500 billion is no small number. That is a giant amount of capital, and certainly there will be some companies that benefit from this significantly. And then I'll do a little bit of research on that tomorrow or this evening if I have some time. It's trivia night, so I'm gonna go do some trivia here, but I'll be researching that one because that's a big money inflow. I'm surprised MicroStrategy has not made more of a move either way. Me too, Big Eb. Man, I'll be honest. I was thinking MicroStrategy, and that's why I was so stoked to have my shares taken away from me on Friday. I thought we could see it at 520. We could see it at 200. I was expecting that kind of swing, especially if you agree to issue 10 billion more shares. Like, holy cow. I don't think anybody has ever done anything like this where they've increased their number of shares that much. Yet everybody knows that every penny from those sales is going to go right into Bitcoin and push Bitcoin's price up. So I'm stoked. I mean, I can't emphasize enough how much this is going to impact Bitcoin. For those of you who are bullish, MicroStrategy might just be your biggest friend, because if they have $10 billion or 10 billion shares, let's just let this soak in. I mentioned these numbers on Friday's show just as kind of an eye-opener. If you have 10 billion shares, there you go. And let's say they just decide to sell it at current value, which is $390,000. If you times that by $390, you're talking $3.9 trillion worth of money being poured into Bitcoin. It only has a market cap of $1 trillion. So this could be absolutely ginormous. Not to mention the strategic Bitcoin reserve, the G20. This could be the gold rush for Bitcoin that I've been waiting for, and I know many of you are as well. And we'll see what happens with Bitcoin and crypto this year. Again, the 4-year cycle does factor into my mind, but I think there's other factors that are far bigger catalysts to push this thing higher and higher and higher. So yeah, really surprised we didn't see more volatility with that MicroStrategy today. And yeah, I thought it'd be all over the place. Not really that big of a deal. So cool. That's why I ended up selling the 330s this morning. I thought we'd see a bigger swing. Market seemed to be okay with that one. And really, I think it's just tied to Bitcoin. So, by the way, they did buy $1.1 billion worth of Bitcoin over the past few days also. So they propped it up. Their average price for Bitcoin, I believe, was 101 or 102. Currently, for those that want to know, we are looking great on that Bitcoin price chart. We are 106.2 right now, and we may be hitting all-time highs here by the end of the week. I do believe we will see all-time highs by the end of the week. Okay. All right, let me run it through our top 8 here. Just do, because we haven't done this in a while because I've had all these guests. And by the way, schedule for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, John O'Donnell will talk macro, big economics, Austrian economics. I'm sure he'll want to talk more about Bitcoin. On Thursday, I'm going to have Mike McMahon on the program. I haven't had him on in a long time. This is one of my old colleagues, and now he just sits in the beach and trades all day. So we'll have Mike McMahon talking about just trading, period. So it's more of a, what do you want to know about trading and investing? Pick his brain, learn little tools and tricks from Mike, which would be great. And then Friday, I'll be doing a show by myself. So got a couple guests lined up for us this week, which I'm excited about. Now let's start bottom, work our way to the top as far as markets go. Crude oil. You have that market pullback, which, I had this area drawn out here, which is okay. But once we broke through that, in my opinion, this line disappears. So it looked great because we're bouncing on it right now, but now I don't think that line carries much relevance. Now, we have obviously a pretty significant move up here in crude oil over the past few weeks. You've had a bull flag breakout and then an extended move, which actually meets the bull flag target. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, here's how a bull flag works. You have a significant move up like this, and then you usually have a channel. Let me see if I can draw a channel in here. You have a channel that looks like that. That's not working. I did a regression channel. It's not going to work. Anyway, you're going the wrong way, Merlin. You're going the wrong way. Let me get rid of that stupid thing. So my channel would look something like this. And this just basically becomes the top of the flag formation. So there's your bull flag. And the theory is that once it breaks the upside, it's going to move the same distance, which would probably put it right around there. We got pretty darn close if you go the breakout of this one to the target measured move for crude oil. All in all, right now, I'm not concerned. I think it's just going to be a pullback. Most likely, it's going to come back down to the 74 mark, which right now we're at 75.83, which is fine. That's really just be another 2% decline from current value as we come back down to this consolidation point and then break back to the upside, would be my opinion. Our yield dropped 1% today. I'm focused on this one because there's so much talk about the long end of the yield curve rising because of our debt. Well, right there, right around 4.5% to me is kind of this important line for the 10-year yield. Now, I don't think that the yield necessarily is driven as much by supply and demand as, let's say, the S&P or Apple or Microsoft shares, but I do think that there's going to be a psychological level that comes in right around 4.5%, and we are almost there. Dollar index also over the weekend had a pretty big drop down, but I would argue you're right kind of at this little horizontal line. I'm not going to call that demand. It really feels more like support. And I know, in my opinion, there is a big difference between support and demand. In this case, I'm just going to call it support because it's been kind of bouncing along that level at 107.81. Anything below that, I think you're looking at a real quick step down here, about a full dollar on that dollar index. So it's looking a little bit weak right now. On this one, that is an ugly daily candle on the dollar index. And let's just check here, make sure there's no data issues. Yeah, so basically when the index opened up, you had a pretty significant gap down on it. It looks like it tried to rally up, but you get these type of odd-looking charts when you have overnight gaps that are significant. So looking very weak at the moment, not liking that one so much. Gold, on the other hand, looking decent. We are right back up to an area where I think it's going to have a little bit of a sell-off. If it doesn't sell off, then we're going to go back to all-time highs. And right now, I'll zoom in for you so we can get an idea what that all-time high number is. On the future side of things, your all-time high is about, call it 2,800. And we're currently at 2,759. And we're hitting this overhead supply from December 11th and 12th. So I would expect there to be a little bit of weakness right now. I'll see how far back it comes down. Maybe it gets down to about the 2680 mark and then challenges all-time highs. I think all-time highs are on the plate for gold. Top four, going to be NASDAQ up 0.53% on the day. Again, we mentioned this on Friday's show, which was a wonderful break out of this downtrend here. And given the fact that we are in a predominantly big bullish market uptrend, great. Small pullback in relationship to the big trend. What that means is keep your eye on these next couple of levels. The one that we're at immediately right now. You also have one right around $22,050. And then, of course, the all-time highs that go back to December 17th. So looking great right now, at least that it broke that shorter term downtrend, but you got to break some of these more recent highs, then you can really be bullish on the NASDAQ and broader markets. I do think that the talk track from Trump about $500 billion into AI and tech surge, and the fact that front row at his inauguration was Apple CEO and Amazon CEO and Tesla. I mean, you had basically the string, and Meta, all of them right there. My favorite picture of the whole thing was, I think, is it Bezos' wife, who I don't understand the thought process there. You're at a very dignified event and you cross the line of being like a porno actress and classy. Like she had, I don't know if you guys saw her standing next to Bezos, that she was there with brunette. She's very pretty, but basically she had on like lingerie, like really like frilly, lacy, furry lingerie, just popping her boobs out. And she wore a nice jacket over the top, but it was just like a boob buffet for everyone. And there's this hilarious picture of Mark Zuckerberg, like just looking right down her shirt with a big smile on his face, like, God, geez, perfect. The cameraman was like this, just waiting for that picture. He knew someone's gonna do it. Someone's gonna do it. Oh, one of the funnier moments of the whole thing. Anyway, you've got those people. Oh, he was, Jeff. He was definitely getting a good peek of there. It was, it was pretty dang funny. Anyway, it's hard to think that those companies would not benefit, right? If you were on the outs with President Trump and you kind of felt like, oh, we got a bad relationship, or he doesn't like my company, or yada, 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 you are probably going to not attend. But the fact that you're front row at the event, or front couple of rows at such a, significant event, tells me that we're probably going to see more tech support. Not tech support as in, an Indian call center. I mean tech support as in money flowing into tech to bring more tech jobs to the U.S. and make it better and better and better. So billionaires are people too. All right, let's go almost to the top here. We got S&P brought up a bronze metal 0.84%. This one looks just like what the NASDAQ does, but better. Because if we do stair steps on the S&P, I'll put some horizontal lines here, you'll notice that for the S&P, it is clearly past that first hurdle, right? Let me stretch this out here. I want to get a better look at it. Sorry. Yesterday's close was kind of in supply. Today we broke through that first. We had 3 steps here. 1, 2, 3. Right now we're coming screaming into that 6,100 mark on the S&P today, right? We had a high price on the S&P of 60.93. Right? The 6,100 mark is a logical supply zone. Would lead me to believe you're going to see that just kind of have a little bit of difficulty at 6,100, pull back a little bit, and then challenge 6,150. And after that, off to the races. Could be a pretty significant rip to the upside here. But things looking great. And again, I think Trump is going to really have a positive impact on these equity markets for a while, which is why I was mentioning that I believe the first quarter is going to be rather strong. I think that that's going to be this honeymoon phase of we've got a new president, he's fixing this, he's spending money here, he's doing this. Could be really good first quarter, and we'll see what happens the first half. Again, I think that the first half of this year is going to be pretty bullish. I'll remain long and strong until then. And then we'll see how it changes near the tail end, or if it changes. We already talked about Bitcoin. Bitcoin looking fantastic. You see the futures markets here today broke an all-time high. Futures hit $110,000 today, which was absolutely fantastic, but we have not closed yet, so we'll see how that ends up. It's up 1.06%, closing at 106,400. And lastly, Russell 2000, stoked on this one. I sold a bunch of IWM puts last week, and the fact that this is ripping, great. And you're like, well, Merlin, why didn't you just buy the Russell? Because I like to collect a premium. So I will just let this thing keep on running. I love it. I think you got some legs until we get to 2360 on the Russell. A little bit higher, probably about 2365 will be your next area of resistance or supply on the Russell 2000. So all in all, market's looking pretty good right now. Pretty good. What do you guys see? How about that awkward pause when the music for American? Yeah. You know what? Honestly, that probably was the best moment for me. If the music was supposed to come and play and she just grabbed the microphone and started singing, not only did she knock it out of the park, but she got everybody involved with it. It was actually a really emotional, powerful, I thought it was fantastic. I really thought it was a fantastic, and I'm not a big Carrie Underwood fan, but I thought it was fantastic. Really, I like when the crowd gets together. I saw a video, it was a couple weeks ago. There was a Little League game, and the announcer says, due to a technical issue, we're not going to play the national anthem for the baseball game. And the kids are lined up along the bases. So the kids go into the dugout, and all of a sudden you can hear a couple of people start singing the national anthem. And next thing you know, by the time they get to the second verse, everybody's at the top of their lungs, singing the national anthem. The kids come back and line up, and it's like, that was better than any pre-recorded national anthem being played. So I think the way she handled it, the way it worked out, was just awesome. I thought that was great. Let's see. You guys are hilarious in the chat today. It's such a good stuff. Singing, the unemployment on Thursday can poop the market. Yeah, but John, I don't see unemployment really being that big of an issue right now. I mean, we talked about it rising, right? And I'll bring up that data. Let me real quickly bring up Forex Factory. I'm not sure why it should already be here, but apparently it's not here. Let's go look at Forex Factory, and we'll just look at the calendar for the week. So you do have obviously some job data coming out this week. Really, tomorrow you have Thursday you have the unemployment claims, and that will be of interest, I'm sure, to a lot of people. And keep in mind, I mentioned this in the Monday Morning Must Know. You got to keep an eye on Japan as well. That Japanese yen has been just getting murdered. Absolutely murdered. The rate on the yen just keeps falling and falling. A lot of currencies right now against the US dollar getting crushed, absolutely crushed, which is great for any of us who want to travel. But we do have the unemployment claims, which come out on Thursday. That one, of course, is going to be very widely watched, I think, now, and no more so than every other week. And then on Friday, we just have a whole bunch of services, manufacturing numbers, and existing home sales. So the unemployment numbers really come out the first Friday of the month, so we'll see what happens on our February numbers here on next month. So all in all, not too shabby. So that's your crypto and equity market updates, dollar market index. We went through quite a few different things here today. As far as what to expect, I received so much this question. I just expect volatility. I expect these markets to have a lot of action, a lot of movement back, up and down. I think if you're an options seller, it's going to be an even better year for you, because you'll have these really big down days, and you'll just look at a company and go, is it a company that I want to own long? Am I okay holding this for a while? If that's the case, then if it gets exercised to you, then no worries. You'll just sell calls against it until it comes back up to your price. And as long as it's a solid company, not some fly-by-night, .com company or AI firm that's garbage. It's got to be a legit company. I see Jeff talking about VIX is crashing too. Yeah. I mean, VIX had a huge move up and down 4.73% today, but I'm not a big fan of the VIX. I think that this is a cookbooks type of thing. Historically, anything under 20 is supposed to be a time where you sell your shares. If that's the case, look how often it would have told you to sell over the past few years. I mean, basically from 2023 on, you would have been selling everything you own and shorting the market and getting absolutely murdered. So no, I'm not a big fan of it. If you get to the single digits, I think that's a time you should probably think about selling and look at shorting the markets, but not 20 anymore. Single digits. Following Nancy Pelosi. There's a guy out there who's got a new product that you can subscribe to, and you can follow what these guys are doing. Just remember, if you're playing these mirror sites where you mirror different fund managers, you're quarterly late. Because if I report as a hedge fund manager, I don't have to do that daily. I have to let you know what I'm in. I do it quarterly. And what I'll do is I'm going to show on my quarterly statements, here's a big position that I'm in. And then the next day after I file, I'll sell all that and I'll rebalance to get people out of those positions and move into other things. It's a manipulation game. Remember, if you are so powerful in the financial markets and you have so much clout and pull, there's going to be people following what you say and do, just like Trump did with the Trump coin, right? He knew people were going to buy it and gobble that thing up, and he's being rewarded handsomely for it. BlackRock's no different. JP Morgan's no different. You've got any hedge fund that has power is going to try to get on programs and sell their wares and pump their bags, essentially. So you just got to be careful with all that stuff. I'm not a big fan. If Pelosi's doing something, the way it should be is in real time. Done in real time where we could see every trade that happens. Now that I'd be interested in. Until then, not interested. Laura said premium was great on Tesla puts today too. All of the tech stuff, right? All the tech stuff. Here, Tesla is actually calmed down a little bit. I sold those MicroStrategies and got a lot of money for 4 days. I forgot exactly what the premium I sold them at. I can tell you, just so we can. 1 second, I'll tell you what we got here on the Tesla So the MicroStrategy. So I did sell the January 24th puts today on MicroStrategy, just to give you an idea of how good the premium was. I sold the 24's 330 strikes, which is there, expiring Friday, so it's not like I have a long time. And that was about 1.1%. Well, actually 1.3%. So 1/3% for 4 days. I'm okay. And to get to me, MicroStrategy would have to fall 15% in 4 days. That's delicious premium, but again, there's massive risk to this. So don't do it with all the capital. I think it's fun to do with a little slice of your capital, but spread it around so you don't get caught holding the bag. CB says, I'm looking at Square and TradingView, and it's showing me very sparse data. SQ. Yeah. Yeah, this is because you're looking at it on a different exchange. See this BMV? That's not US. That's not a US exchange. That's why. So let's go to SQ and go to stocks. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. It shouldn't look like this. This is obviously a clear sign of low liquidity, and you can look here in the bottom, like maybe 1,000 shares a day. Is it block? Oh, thank you, Oliver. I did not know that one. It changed their name to Examine Your Zipper, or XYZ. XYZ. Huh. Thanks, Oliver. That was news to me. So there you go. Is that a today thing? Oh, there you go. Interesting. Learn something new every day. So I guess they changed their ticker name. What's weird about this, if they change their ticker name, it should show you all the historical data too, but it's not. It's just showing you as of today. And notice the volume here is definitely significantly higher than what you saw with SQ. So thank you, Ted. Yep. And Oliver, appreciate that. I did not know they switched. But there you go. But you were right there, CB. If you look at SQ, if you ever see a chart that looks like this on a daily basis, right? This is a daily price chart of a block. Stay away from it. This is just, it's too illiquid, dangerous stuff. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for me. I don't want to do a 1 hour show, but here we are at 1 hour time frame. Welcome. I'm glad we're back for our regular scheduled broadcast. I'm going to have John O'Donnell on the program tomorrow, so it should be an exciting day. I love having John on. If you have something you want me to cover with him, email me. It's on the screen right here at tradermerlin@gmail.com, or put your comments down below any of the YouTube videos. Take care, everybody. I will see you mañana. Take care.